Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The UN has approved a plan for Gaza reconstruction, creating a Trump-led board of peace to oversee government and rebuilding.
Today's resolution represents another significant step towards a stable Gaza that will be able to prosper and an environment that will allow Israel to live in security.
That's U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Mike Waltz. Russia and China abstained, and Hamas rejected the plan, saying it fails to meet Palestinian needs. Alabama gets an F in maternal health with high infant and maternal mortality and preterm births. March of Dimes says Black women face the greatest disparities, calling for urgent policy changes to improve care. And Robin Roberts is producing a biopic and documentary on the late Roberta Flack, celebrating the Grammy-winning singer's life and legacy. Flack passed away earlier this year. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
This is Dr. Jaquil Ross, the host for Talk That, NOLA Education, brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans. On Talk That, we'll be focusing on the amazing work of educators and students happening inside and around public schools in New Orleans. Our school communities are full of so much talent and promise, so let's talk about it. This month, we'll be joined by Jamar McNeely, Jarrell Bryant, and Dana Peterson for a discussion focused on the importance of Black men in education. Also, we will hear from Kathleen Harris, Dr. Sheila Guidry, and Dr. Kelly Jordan to talk about how NSNO and NOLA Public Schools are supporting a growing English language learner population in our schools. Following that, we will have a conversation with a few representatives from NOLA Public Schools to talk about the upcoming enrollment window for school year 26-27 using the New Orleans Common Application process. So tune in to Talk That, NOLA Education, every Monday at 12:30 p.m. on 12:30 a.m. To learn more about NSNO and our programs, visit newschoolsforneworleans.org.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome to the Good Morning Show. Happy Thursday. It's pre-Friday. It's not Friday yet. Might be a little early to start your weekend, but we are happy that you are here with us on the Good Morning Show at WBOK 12:30 a.m. It is 7:04 a.m. and want to remind you that school zone speeds are in effect until 9. So please, please, please watch out for our babies. Go slow. You don't want to go too fast. And no 35 and 28 is not okay. Not okay in the school zones. So be careful. And as we mentioned before, as these kids are getting ready, yes, there are school zone speed limits around the schools, but be careful right at home, in your driveway, on your street. Unfortunately, we lost an elementary school kid just a few days ago, right in his own driveway, getting ready to go to school. We don't want to have any more reports of things like that, and that's primarily up to us, the grown folks in this community, to be more careful. They're learning. They might not be watching where they're going. We have to watch out for them. Please, please, please be careful. You got somewhere to be at 7:15. You got 10 minutes to get there in New Orleans. You know, you can probably get somewhere in 15, 20 minutes. So be careful if you're driving and getting out. Of course, I am Will Sutton. I am blessed to have another day. Thank you, Lord, for waking me up, put my feet on the floor, and getting me over to this station. And guess who is in with me today? Councilman Eugene Green.
I feel so honored to have been introduced by the bell.
Welcome, Councilman Green.
Good morning. I am pleased to be here at WBOK. It's pleasing to be on this side of the mic.
All right. Well, you're no stranger to WBOK, and we're no stranger to you. You know our WBOK family of listeners, and you have for a long time, even before your career in public service, elected public service, because you've been serving the public for quite a long time.
Yes, I'm pleased to have that opportunity in our city, and I've seen some real growth in some important areas. So it's always pleasing to be a part of some of that growth.
But, depending on the age of anybody listening, you might have heard Eugene Green on WBOK on this show and other shows talking about things going on in the city as a councilman. But there was a time when you were on this side of the mic.
Every once in a while, I'd be a co-host, or I'd certainly be a guest, but I'd be a co-host. And a couple of times I was a promoter of the Green Business Report, which talked about wealth building. And I still talk about wealth building wherever I can. Real estate investments in the stock market, insurance policies and the like, anything that leaves us with something that we can pass on, but we can also use as an asset. So those days, I remember well being able to be in a position to host a show, but the issues continue every day that we were talking about.
Wonderful. Absolutely. So we've got a lot of news going on, Councilman, and a lot of things that we're going to be covering. Of course, we've got a great show ahead. First and all, starting with having the co-host Eugene Green here for a bit. So just want to let you know he's here for a bit. So he's got some other things that he's going to be doing. So we're happy to have him for the time that we do.
I regret that I have to leave early, but I'm going to a convention. A lot of people don't have a reason to know all of these conventions come to New Orleans, but the National Association of Multicultural Education, and the name speaks for itself, is convening here in the city for this weekend, and I'll be greeting them this morning. It's just one of the many events that take place outside of the ones that we see mostly in the media, the sporting events or the concerts. A good number of people and organizations and conventions choose to come to the city of New Orleans so that they can enjoy themselves while also being in a position to share their information and resources.
Yeah, I'm really glad they chose us because we need that. I mean, if we rely only on the mega events, the big events, a lot of people wouldn't have work.
Right, absolutely.
A lot of people wouldn't have work. So I'm glad that they chose us, and tell them hello on our behalf as well.
I'll do that.
All right, so today is Thursday, and so if it's Thursday at WBOK on the Good Morning Show, you know that means it's Congressman Troy Carter. So we'll be hearing from Congressman Troy Carter this morning, and expect to hear from him talking about some immigration and broadband issues in particular. Maybe there's a Border Patrol update, but definitely those are some of the issues that we want to talk about with him. We also will be hearing from City Councilman-elect Matthew Willard. So newly elected at-large city council member. So he will join the council in January 12th, becoming one of your colleagues.
I'll look forward
in January.
I look forward to working with him. For instance, in January, we've worked before, but I'm looking forward to working with him in a different capacity. He's council member at large and, had a distinguished career in the Louisiana State Legislature. So he brings that knowledge and his commitment to our city, to the council. It's a good council that we're going to have.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to be talking about some other things after we take a break. And but one of the big things is the city of New Orleans is coming out of the police consent decree.
It's important to recognize after a good number of years.
That is huge. We will talk about that and more after the break. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. Derek Groves is expected to be sentenced today. He was the last of 10 inmates caught after escaping from the Orleans Parish Jail earlier this year. Groves will be sentenced on several charges, including second-degree murder for his role in a deadly shooting in the Desire neighborhood back in 2017, and also another separate shooting. Sentencing is set for 8 a.m. And the Orleans Parish Jail employee accused of helping those inmates during the jailbreak will also be in court today. Sterling Williams is accused of cutting off water to a jail cell so the inmates could escape through a hole behind a toilet in that cell. He has pleaded not guilty to principal to simple escape and malfeasance in office. Then Archbishop Gregory Amen will take the stand as the Archdiocese bankruptcy trial continues to play out in court. We learned earlier in the week that more than 150 parishes and other entities associated with the Archdiocese will have to contribute to a $230 million settlement with abuse survivors. The Archdiocese is also selling properties, including Christopher Homes, for $150 million. This trial is expected to continue into December. And that is a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the Love Zone on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK AM, 1230 AM. We appreciate those listening on the radio, those listening on internet, and those listening and watching on the WBOK 1230 AM Facebook Live page. We certainly appreciate your tuning in to us. We've got a great show today, and with me is City Council Member Eugene Green from the fantastic Council District D.
Right.
Yes, Council District D.
6 schools of higher education, 9 high schools, significant numbers of parks. It's a good community.
Yep. Well, one of the big things that happened yesterday is the City of New Orleans, the New Orleans Police Department, is out of the federal consent decree.
Right. And
this is huge.
Yes.
There is a lot of money that has been spent on taking care of what needed to be taken care of with the federal consent decree. This is under the leadership of multiple police superintendents, going back to Michael Harrison and Sean Ferguson and Michelle Woodfork, and now Ann Kirkpatrick has picked up the baton and gotten us to the point where we're crossing that finish line. So the federal judge essentially is saying you have met the guidelines and we are taking you out from under federal oversight. But as we do that, we want you to pay attention to the work that you've done and the things that we've said, and to take care of this community in a much better way than the things that got you into this in the first place. Is that a fair summary?
I think that you summed it up very well, and we as a city are going to take on that responsibility. This is not the end, if you will. This is the beginning. There is much more to be done, and we will be working every day through the mechanisms that have been created, through the police community advisory boards, to the monthly meetings at the district stations, through the making sure that we are focused on the work of the Public Integrity Bureau, the Independent Police Monitor. Our public hearings will continue, so we will do what it takes to make sure that there is constitutional policing in the city of New Orleans, so that we haven't changed in terms of our motivation. It's just that there won't be the intense oversight of the consent decree, but there will be continued oversight by the city council, the administration, and the citizens of our city.
So we've had this consent decree since 2012. That's quite a while to be operating under the federal consent decree. And there are very specific things in this consent decree. This is not having I'll use education as an example, a high school course summary or even a college syllabus. It is much more detailed,
right,
than that, with very specific items, and you have to hit the mark on each of those.
Right. It's important to recognize that if you don't have any reason to not know this unless you study it, but a lot of folks think that policing is just seeing the police officers and them making arrests or them responding to calls. There's a lot more. Investigations are important. The use of equipment is important. It's important to just recognize that the complexities of policing require this sort of oversight that took place over the past number of years, but that we are up to the task as a city. We've made tremendous strides. Anyone who grew up here in New Orleans and especially remembers times such as the 60s and 70s and, some 80s, and who saw the problems that we had after Hurricane Katrina, for example, recognizes that we had problems. Everyone recognizes that we had problems. We haven't overcome every issue, but it's important to recognize that today, because of community input, because of the work of elected officials, because of the work of our law enforcement community, federal and local working together, that we are a vastly different New Orleans Police Department, and that there are many reasons for the decrease in crime in our city, but one of the reasons is the training and the intense work that the New Orleans Police Department has worked on in engaging with our citizens. So we're looking forward to continued productivity. But again, this is not the end of oversight. This is an oversight of a different manner, which is the city of New Orleans taking on that responsibility that the consent decree monitor have. We're going to do a fine job. We've codified, we've passed the laws that make what the recommendations of the consent decree monitors are become permanent in the records of the city of New Orleans. So that's important. We're going to continue
and we still
to
have a police monitor.
We're still going to have an independent police monitor. That is correct.
Yeah,
we're still going to have monthly
let's take
meetings
this
of the
opportunity to just address the difference between the federal consent decree and police monitor.
Well, I would basically say that the police monitor, if you will, is more available to the public for some, because they're going to report to the city council every quarter. So you have a chance to come and see them. So you know who your independent police monitor is. I will I will remind everyone that every month there's a district police station and there's a police community advisory board, and people can attend those meetings. But the city council has quarterly meetings where we have the components of the components of the criminal justice system, the agencies and offices come before the council. There's a lot of opportunity for the public to engage with our law enforcement community and to follow and determine what investigations are being done. That wasn't available prior to the consent decree.
Well, Attorney General Liz Murrow, according to her tally, this has cost $100 million.
Well, the judge yesterday, and I will repeat what Judge Susie Brown, the federal judge, said. I'm raising my voice for a reason.
Yeah.
She said, produce those receipts, because she doesn't see that number.
Right. So
That's a federal judge.
That's right.
Who said, produce the receipts.
Right. Yeah. So she put the figure at $100 million, and another figure is $20 million. So my point is that is a huge difference.
Right.
So I want people, when they hear millions, that they think about what that means and what is being tabulated. So when we hear millions, even when we hear thousands, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? And I do want to note that the federal Attorney General in the Justice Division said this quote. I want to share this. We credit the officers and supervisors who have transformed NOPD despite local political obstacles and who continue to work to keep communities safe, despite political obstacles. So this has got done. All right, it's gotten done. All right, well, we're going to move. We're going to go direct to break and a short break. And when we come back, we're going to hear from Congressman Troy Carter, our congressman. It is 7:21 a.m. right here on the Good Morning Show. You're listening to WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Patchy fog is possible for us, and then once we get to the afternoon, it clears up. Highs into the lower 80s for us, another warm one ahead. We will see some chances for rain overnight into our Friday. These will be hit or miss, so not everybody will see them. Highs for Friday, though, still into the 80s, more 80s for the weekend. And then once we get to next week, possibly cooler weather. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
Transform your bathroom with the beautiful quality of Bath Planet. As a trusted leader in bathroom renovation, Bath Planet has earned the Good Housekeeping Seal, a symbol of quality and consumer confidence for over 100 years. Get half off installation or 18 months with no interest and no payments. Whether it's tub replacement, a shower replacement, or a tub-to-shower conversion, Bath Planet makes your custom bath fast, easy, and affordable. Here's how it works. 1. Call to schedule your free, no-obligation consultation. 2. Our design experts come to you with real samples to customize your dream bath. 3. Our certified installers complete the transformation in as little as 1 day. And right now, for a limited time, you can upgrade your bathroom for 50% off installation or choose 18 months with no interest and no payments. But you need to call now. This special offer is only available by calling 800-981-8177. That's 800-981-8177. Call 800-981-8177 right now before the offer ends.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit risestjames.org today.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule. No excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am Will Sutton, and co-hosting with me today is none other than City Councilman for District D, Eugene Green.
Which is where we both live. It's a great district, isn't it?
All right. Well, wonderful. Right. Thank you for being here with us today. We love having you and other members of the city council to come and share with us, but it's a whole different thing to have you sitting here for a bit, and so we can tap into your knowledge and your information, and you can share more with us.
And I appreciate what WBOK does to share information with thousands of people through the morning and afternoon, and also during the day, just the talk shows, the ability for people to call in and share their thoughts makes a big difference in our city.
Absolutely. Well, Councilman, if it's Thursday morning at the Good Morning Show, it is time for our U.S. Representative Troy Carter. Good morning, Congressman. You're on with Will Sutton, and today, Eugene Green.
Good morning,
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, Will. Good morning, Councilman.
How you doing?
Happy to be here with you guys today.
Wonderful. How are you this morning?
Doing well. Here we are, back at the nation's capital.
All right.
Fighting for what's right and what's just.
All right. Well, Congressman, let's hop into immigration. I mean, it's not just that there are developments each day. It's like multiple times a day. There are all kinds of developments. And I believe you participated in a forum yesterday focused on some of the things that are being done. Is that correct?
That is correct. We had a shadow hearing yesterday with Homeland Security where we were fortunate enough to have some of the real-life witnesses to come and share their testimony. We had Reverend Black from Chicago. You may have seen the viral video where Reverend Black, a pastor in Chicago's South Side, while having his arms reached out in full collar, clearly he's a member of the clergy, his hands reached out in prayer. ICE officer walked up to him at close range, shot him in the face with one of the pepper bullets, shot him additional 7 times throughout his body. This is ridiculous. This is inhumane. This is barbaric. This is what now the Trump administration wants to bring to New Orleans. Listen, this is not some war-torn country that you're bringing people into. These are our citizens. Yeah, we had a military decorated soldier who told the story of how his wife was taken up, even though she is a citizen, and is still in custody. Again, in Chicago, we saw what happened in Charlotte, where some 250 students didn't go to school because their parents were afraid that they might be mistakenly taken. I mean, what are we doing? This is an opportunity for members of Congress to ask the tough questions and to hear firsthand from people who have experienced the atrocities of this overreach of power, this overreach of separation of powers. Listen, as I said in my comments yesterday, and I repeatedly said, if the president wants to help New Orleans, there are lots of ways he can help. He can help by providing additional funds for our city council to appropriate to hire more police officers, better training for police officers, to create opportunities where a district attorney's office has greater tools to make good prosecutions. He can work with community organizations, can put money into mental health. There are lots of ways you can help if your mission is truly to help curb crime. I'm afraid that the mission appears more like an attempt for theater, to make political gain, to distract from more serious issues that are going on in our country, like Epstein files or 17 million people losing Medicaid, or the resistance to expanding the ACA tax credits, where literally millions of people, small business owners, working people, will lose their ability to afford health care. these are issues that we should be really talking about. We should be talking about the fact that people in the river parishes are losing ground that we made under the Biden administration with environmental justice and the ability to be able to breathe clean air and drink clean water. Yet the president wants to continue with this shock and awe. It seems as if, as you just mentioned, Will, it seems as if that didn't bother you enough. Let me try something else. Oh, that didn't bother you enough. Let me try something else. It's like they continue to find a new way to poke and prod, and we're just not going to do it. I'm going to support our new mayor, our new city council, our surrounding mayors and parish presidents to make sure that our voices are heard, that if there's going to be anything done in our cities, there has to be coordination, and there has to be a plan, there has to be due process, and there has to be an opportunity for us to say, this works, this does not. We don't need militarized zones. We don't need people walking around with long rifles. We don't need people that don't understand our municipal laws. We don't need people who don't understand the art and the training of de-escalation. This may very well add insult to injury.
It's ironic to me that, of course, on yesterday, the federal government released us from the consent decree because we had such good training and we've had such good results and the like. And you mentioned something that's important, and it was a generalization, but we have a new culture of safety in our city. We have a working relationship with members of the law enforcement community. I regret that all I'm seeing in the paper without communications directly is that the troops are coming, but there's no communication with us and not sufficient communication with our law enforcement community to share how we're going to work together if this does happen. So I just wanted to mention that because you mentioned and it just so happened that the consent decree ended yesterday, and the next headline is basically troops untrained in New Orleans, potentially coming to New Orleans to engage in law enforcement. What does that mean in terms of the work that is needed to be done with our local law enforcement community?
Well, Congressman, that's part of my concern is that it's not as though New Orleans in particular and other southern Louisiana communities haven't had help from the National Guard before. We have had help. It's a regular thing, especially for huge events like Super Bowl or Carnival season. But those are coordinated partnerships and activities with very clear delineation of duties and responsibilities with the police chief and other law enforcement people. But when we have ICE officers, in a number of cases, attracted by a $50,000 bonus to come on and start work, how much training do they have to start work with public-facing roles with equipment, including pepper spray guns and other things, and masks, and dealing with the public? I mean, it just, not only does it not look good, it doesn't feel good, and it's intimidation. And now it seems to be escalating beyond National Guard to ICE, and now we have Border Patrol. And each of these have different responsibilities. So before we talk about the harmful part, if you don't mind, could you let our WBOK family of listeners know the difference between Border Patrol and ICE and what their jurisdiction is supposed to be?
Yes, and I'm glad you asked that, because that dovetails perfectly into my comments yesterday at the hearing and my comments moments ago. Listen, I want to echo what you said, because I want to be very clear, and I've said this repeatedly throughout electronic, print, media, and personally. We are grateful for the National Guard and for the work that they've done. Make no bones about it. They've been great partners for us. They've been great partners before, during, and after storms. They've been great partners for us on the New Year's Eve massacre. They were great partners for us with crowd control. But there are limits to what they can do. These are trained military people for which we are a debt of gratitude we can never pay. But it's unfair to them to put them in situations that they aren't trained for. So it is not that we don't want or like National Guard. We want them in places that they can effectively help and not be in places that they put citizens in harm and even put themselves in harm's way. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to their family. It's not fair to the people of New Orleans. Secondarily, the next part of that is when you look at Border Patrol, their job is to station and to make sure people are not coming into our borders without proper documentation, making sure that people are coming in, that they have been they're checking their cars for contraband, they're checking to see if they are in fact lawful to be able to come in, rather for a day pass, a working pass, or to come in at all. They're not trained in municipal laws. They're not even trained in policing. They're certainly not trained in de-escalation. So they don't know our communities. They don't know our cultures. They don't know our norms, our nuances. This is a disaster waiting to happen. And then when you look at ICE agents are similarly situated in that they are immigration control officers. Their job is to identify and to work with people who are either seeking asylum or identifying people who are going through the process. All of a sudden, they become a Gestapo. Now their single mission is to go out and arrest people that, quote unquote, look, for whatever this means, look like they shouldn't be here. What the world does that mean? Look like you shouldn't be here? Have we gone so far in our Constitution and our civil liberties that we now have to worry what we look like to determine if we're going to be stopped? Look at every time you turn on CNN or turn on some news publication or pick up your newspaper, and you hear of somebody who was arrested who was a citizen, who was thrown to the ground and beaten, thrown into a car only to be released hours later because they failed to do what the citizen asked them to do in the first place, was just look at my passport. Here's my paperwork. This is shades of South Africa during apartheid, where you have to walk around wearing your credentials so you're not accosted. In this case, people wearing their credentials are still being accosted. Now, go back to my earlier point of, if you want to help, there's ways to help, but I am convinced that there is no effort to help. The effort is to confuse, to take over, to overstep, to distract the American people from what's really going on in our country. And there's a pilfering of our country. There is a demolition of our Constitution. There's a demolition of our rule of law. And that's why I'm so proud and happy to be on with you every week. So proud to use the airwaves to challenge every single day. I challenge this administration and challenge the illegalities and unconstitutional actions that are going on. As I often say, in Congress, we're outvoted. We don't have the votes to block some of this bad stuff, but guess what we have? We have our voice. We have our voice, and we will always continue to fight and use our voice and speak truth to power. Just a few days ago, we were fortunate enough to be able to sign a discharge petition. We didn't have the votes, but we were able to force a discharge petition when we got our newest member, Ms. Grijalva. That unlocked the key to release the Epstein files. Then the president says, I want you to. Well, it wasn't that you wanted to. You couldn't stop it anymore because the public pressure. And this is why we talk about my 3 C's, the Congress, the courts, and the community. The community outcry is working. We may not have the votes, but we have our voice, and it's working.
Wonderful. We are in conversation with Congressman Troy Carter. I am Will Sutton, and with me today is Councilman Eugene Green. We're talking about the immigration issues that we're dealing with and the pending possible coming of 250 Border Patrol agents, not just in New Orleans, but across southern Louisiana and even into Mississippi. Yet AP has confirmed that there are plans to do so, but we have no information about what the plans are, where they're going to be, what they're going to be doing. Congressman Carter, tell us what happened yesterday that we should know about in terms of when you all were done yesterday? Are there some next steps? Is the committee looking to respond in some way, nationally or otherwise?
And I'd like to ask Congressman Carter, as he responds, to just talk to our listeners and know that this is going to be shared. Help people who may feel anxious about what they're seeing and reading in the paper without knowing facts. How can we, as our city, feel more relaxed and just be prepared to confront what is going to be coming up? So,
and before you answer, Congressman, I forgot to remind the people the talk line is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. You're on.
So I'll go in reverse order. Councilman, what people should know is that we are monitoring this extremely closely. The Democratic Caucus, the Congressional Black Caucus, and the Homeland Security Committee, all of which I have membership and leadership in, we will be fighting and watching and paying attention and having these hearings throughout the country, here in the nation's capital, bringing people in, continuing to shine as much light on these oversteps as we can. And I think my message to the American people, in particular the people of New Orleans, is to just remain calm. Don't play into the attempt. I like to use a football analogy. Don't let them draw you off sides.
Thank you.
They're going to try to, for those who may want to antagonize, stay calm, because you can't uncrack a skull. You can't undo the harm that some ill-trained, ill-prepared, $50,000 bonused person with limited training coming into your community, trying to disrespect you. Take a deep breath, and we'll get through this. What we don't want to do is to lend more pain to this by having our young people, old people, any of our people abused by these clowns who want to come in and play cowboy. So I would urge our listening audience to pay close attention to your local officials, to your federal officials who will be giving guidance. I will provide any and all resources I can from the federal government to make sure that we have as much oversight as possible. And Councilman, I look forward to working very closely with you, the new administration and the new city council and the existing administration for the months that are left, and existing council, to make sure that we are crossing every T, dotting every I, and protecting the rights of our citizens. The next part of that, Will, is that we're going to continue doing these hearings. We're going to continue to shine the light, because we believe, as you've heard, said, and seen, light is the best disinfectant. And we're going to continue to force these cowardice acts to be called out, and to bring these rogue untrained, and I say rogue untrained, they're literally hiring people with a $50,000 bonus, many of which have not had adequate background checks. We don't know their psychological profiles. We don't know their social media fingerprints. We don't know their backgrounds. You can't possibly get that many people through the system hired with $50,000 bonuses, give them a gun and a badge, and unleash them on a community and expect anything other than tragedy. And that's what we see. You just saw last week an ICE agent pulls a gun and puts it in the face of a kid. Any law enforcement agent will tell you one of the first things you're taught: you don't pull your firearm unless you're ready to use it. You don't pull a firearm on an unarmed person, period, let alone a child. These are the kind of things we're going to see more and more. We always talk about, we hear the city councilman, we hear us all talk about needing more money so we can have recruitment, retention, and better training. Training in de-escalation, training in cultural norms and differences. Because some people react to things differently, so you've got to be well trained. Everything does not require a billy club to your head or a gun pulled to someone or some person thrown to the ground with a knee on their neck. I don't have to tell you oftentimes what that person looks like. They look like me. They look like you that are on the ground with a knee on their neck. We've got to teach cultural competencies so they understand. And if the federal government, the president really wants to help, I can give him a million ways to.
All right. Our police
but
officers
not this way.
Our police officers go through 6 months of intense training before they are able to move on to our force. It's
and these
just
people
important
may
to
be going
recognize
on
that
six days.
There's a reason that they are engaged in such long training, because it is a complex matter to be able to uphold constitutional rights and to be able to respect human rights at the same time. So I appreciate your message to the citizens of our city.
Congressman, we've talked about broadband before, but I want to make sure we make some time for an update about the broadband equity access and in deployment efforts. Can you give us an update about that?
Yes, as you know, Louisiana was the first in the nation, and I'm very proud of that. In this world of accessing resources, it's very competitive to get in that line of appropriations. Louisiana was the first in the nation to secure federal approval for $1.3 billion in broadband deployment funding, otherwise known as BEAD. $1.3 billion. We were also shovel ready and ready to begin work when the Trump administration took over. While the state's new plan for infrastructure had finally been approved, hundreds of millions of dollars for rural telehealth, workforce development, right here in Louisiana, still in limbo. Why? Because the Trump administration came in and put a halt to the whole plan. They blocked it. They stopped it because they wanted to, in their mind, they said it was taking too long. Well, help me understand this. It's taking too long. We're ready to go, and you stop us. It wasn't because it was going too long. It was because they had other plans on how to get their hands on this $42 billion in BEAD funding that was going to the states. They blocked it. They stopped it to be able to put their own spin, to take credit, to put their people in place. So yesterday we had a committee meeting in Energy and Commerce to talk about what this means to Louisiana, what this means to our country. We know that people across the country, particularly in our state, don't have access to broadband, either because they can't afford it, or in many of our rural areas because they simply don't have the infrastructure for it. They don't have the fiber. They don't have the wiring. They don't have the infrastructure. So under the Biden-Harris administration, we passed the largest appropriation to correct this ill, because we know that broadband access is no longer a luxury, but a necessity. With telehealth, with distant learning, with jobs in many cases, with the ability to communicate in the classroom. And yet we find ourselves having to challenge this. So yesterday in committee, I and Representative Doris Matsui, a Democrat from California, had an amendment that would block the American Broadband Deployment Act until we were able to get these funds through the door, to stop their attempts to continue to tweak and tinker. Let's get these dollars out of the door that have already been approved. Let's get these dollars into the hand of states. Even our governor, Republican governor, said in the very beginning of this that this would be transformative and that this was one of the best things ever, yet we now find ourselves in a stalemate, where the dollars are jammed up. We're hopeful that they will be released. We're hopeful that we don't go to a lesser product, which gives people an inferior product versus the product we had before. We don't want to come in and find that the plans that we approve are just held up so Elon Musk and his people have an opportunity to once again pilfer the finances of the American people. The American people are watching, and we're going to continue to use these great forums like this to educate, to inform, and to make sure people know that we're fighting. These dollars were in place, $1.3 billion, ready to go, and it was stopped by this administration for no good reason.
So I have a question about that, Congressman, because it was just this week that the governor made big announcement. It got overshadowed by a number of other things that are going on, but that touting the first Louisiana being the first state approved for these dollars in federal broadband funding, and saying it's a generational investment that's going to put us at the forefront. So they seem to be out of sync here, because, I mean, I'm not talking about something he said in January when it was approved. I mean, this is something he said just this week.
I think the governor's doing a little bit of politicking there, because that's such an important allocation, and especially in our area, in our state, which has rural areas where we take for granted access to the internet, access to different technologies, and in certain areas which are strongly supportive of some of our statewide elected officials, they can't even access information. They can't have information in their schools. So I'm just throwing that in. That it's coincidental.
Congressman, what do you think? I mean, that's about. He issued a press release and everything to tout Louisiana becomes first state approved for $1.36 billion in federal broadband funding. November 18th.
We were always the first. We didn't just become the first, and had the Trump administration not blocked the distribution of these funds, we would be well on our way to people being able to see the actions of boots on the ground. So the governor is correct. This is transformational. This is an amazing opportunity, and we were and are first in line for $1.3 billion in broadband deployment funding. But guess what? We haven't seen a dime. And we should have been shoveled in the ground a year ago, well over a year ago, rather. It was screeching halt when this administration took over, even to the chagrin of our state. And the governor is correct. This is, in fact, transformational. This is the kind of change that we should all enjoy. But it was Trump who stopped it.
So where's the disconnect? I mean, he's announcing that this is moving. You're telling us the money was withdrawn. So did he miss a memo or something?
I don't think that he said it's moving.
Did he miss the memo?
I'm not sure. I'll tell you this. I'm not sure if it missed the memo, but I can say without fear of contradiction, notwithstanding any comments that may come out of the White House about money that's going to be released, no one has a dime yet. Now, the Trump administration is in fact saying we're going to be releasing these monies. But we don't have it. And we don't. And no one does. So there's supposed to be some money that's going to be released. Why would it have to have been released when it was done already? It's like walking into the kitchen with a complete pot of gumbo that's perfectly prepared and throwing it out while you've got hundreds of hungry people waiting to eat.
And it was approved in
January. We're going to have dinner soon. But you don't have anything. It's not enough to say what you're going to do. These funds were there and ready to go. I'm not exactly sure what the governor was referencing.
Just a quick question for him.
Yeah, we got a caller.
Okay, Congressman, what can people, especially in rural areas, do to promote the availability of these funds? To whom should they write?
They should respectfully and lawfully reach out to their members of Congress and say, stop the politics. They should respectfully reach out to the president, email, write, text, use social media, lawfully, respectfully say, broadband should not be political. Please release the funds so we can get caught up as the digital divide continues to leave us behind.
All right, we got a caller. Reverend Calhoun, this is Will Sutton, Eugene Green. You're on with Congressman Troy Carter.
Good morning to all. My question is that does the Louisiana congressional delegation ever come together to talk about these issues? Because it seems like Mike Johnson and Steve Scalise would be, with their leadership over in the Republican Party, should be addressing these matters, trying to help the community. So I'm trying to find out, is there a conversation with the congressional delegation as it impacts the state of Louisiana, not just certain areas, but the complete state? So is that actually happening, Congressman?
No, sir. Listen,
there's no conversation.
Hold on, just one voice.
Let me answer you. The reality is communication among the parties has been at an all-time low. Communication has been at an all-time low. As you know, we stood in the gap and were prepared to do whatever was necessary to make sure the government was never closed. We were at the negotiating table alone. Republicans refused to talk to us. As you know, we came back to Washington and stayed here to make sure that we were prepared to reopen the government as soon as possible, albeit fighting for affordable health care. Our Republican counterparts refused. The president refused to meet with us. Our Republican counterparts refused to meet with us. So your question is answered as best I can this way. We have no communication. Communication is at an all-time low.
So then it's not concerning what's best for the state as a whole anymore.
Well, I think it's just different views on what's concerning. It appears that, unfortunately, many of our leaders have lost their state pride and exchanged it for presidential pride. And I think that's a problem because we should be America first, Louisiana first. We should not be pledging our allegiance to the White House. We should not be pledging our allegiance to the president. We should not even be pledging our allegiance to a party. We should be pledging our allegiance to the people who send us to Washington to fight for them, to protect them, to provide resources for them. And we've gotten so far away from that because people would rather, unfortunately, kowtow to President Trump rather than do what's right for the people of Louisiana or the people of America.
Okay, Congressman, I know we're going to have to let you go. Thank you so much, Reverend Calhoun, for calling in again, raising an important question of working together for what's best for the state. But if people don't want to do that, I guess you can't make them come in the room. Thank you. You have a blessed day. Congressman Carter, before we Congressman Carter, before we let you go, just a couple of key things for fitting into your larger agenda for supporting Louisiana generally and your district families when it comes to immigration and broadband access.
Listen, stay the course. Just know that there are a lot of moving parts. There's a lot at play. Our participation and attention is critically important. I will continue to feed information in real time back to you from the nation's capital. We'll continue to demonstrate our ability and our willingness to organize and to fight on your behalf, to go back and answer or double down on the question that the council member mentioned. What should citizens do? Stay as calm as you can. Listen to your local officials, who I will be working very closely with to ensure that resources, communication, and oversight, I can't underscore that enough, oversight to watch, to have hearings, to protect, to fight against these things that are going on that we believe to be improper, and to demand as much accountability and due process as possible to make sure that if these people who, I think by their own admission, are not trained for these jobs, as the councilman said, our NOPD officers have a very rigorous training program where they go through all of the things that are necessary to protect and to serve and to understand the nuances and de-escalation. And even with all of that, we still have issues. So you know what happens when a person doesn't have training. It's a recipe for disaster, and we're not going to sit back and let this happen. We're going to use every tool we can to protect the people of America, the people of Louisiana, the people of New Orleans. So thank you, sir, for the opportunity to be with you. God bless WBOK. God bless all of our listeners. Together, we're going to make this thing right. We're going to continue to fight against injustices. We're not going to sit back and take it. We're going to be smart. We're going to be ever present, and we're going to be prayerful, and we're going to win.
Thank you, Congressman.
All right.
Carter.
Thank you, Congressman. You have a blessed day.
Thank you, guys. God bless WBOK.
All right. Wonderful. All right. You're listening to WBOK, the Good Morning Show. It is 8 a.m. We're going to make a couple of transitions here. I know you got some things to take care of.
The National Association of Multicultural Education has chosen to come to New Orleans. They could go throughout the nation. They've come here for their convention. It's going to be a very valuable weekend. A lot of good information shared. And, of course, it speaks for itself. Multicultural education. That's good for everyone who's involved.
All right. Well, tell them we said hello and welcome to the city of New Orleans.
Thank you, Will, and thank you, WBOK. Again, I appreciate this opportunity, and invite me back anytime.
All right.
But it's great to be able to share information with the thousands of listeners, you know.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, folks, the talk line is 504-582-9422. You heard quite a bit from Congressman Troy Carter this morning, quite a bit, particularly on the immigration front. And then what the heck is going on with broadband? Governor says one thing, but the reality is the money isn't here. What is happening? Maybe you have some thoughts and some comments. Talk line 504-582-9422. You're listening to WBOK, 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Comparing the cost of wills, successions, and trusts.
A will might only be a few $100s, but your family could end up paying more in legal fees.
Trust costs more upfront, but saves time, stress, and potentially thousands.
Think of it as paying a little now to avoid a big bill later. Smart planning means big savings for your family. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you do not pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK 1230 AM. A big shout out, big thank you to Councilman Eugene Green from City Council District D for sitting in with us this morning. Enjoyed the opportunity to have him with us. That meant that we had 3 purples at WBOK. So class of 73 and Naren, they can't hear you.
2018.
And 76. 76, 18, 73. All in the house right now. Purple, purple, purple. We're everywhere. All right. So thank you for tuning in and listening to the Good Morning Show. It is 8:07 a.m. And if you are getting ready for work and you got somewhere to be at 8:15, you got just a few minutes to get there, and want to remind you to please be careful and be safe. Make sure that you have what you need at home before you walk out the door. Make sure you got your phone, your watch, your keys, your teeth, and make sure you got your tablet, your computer, everything that you need to have a good day. Whether you're going to your full-time paycheck job with health benefits, or if you are going to your office job, or if you're going out to your field job, your street job, your RTA job, make sure that you are taking care of the things that you know that you need to have a good day. All right, so we're going to talk some more about some of the news and information that you want to know, might want to know, should know. And meanwhile, the talk line is available. WBOK 1230 AM talk line, 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. We're going to be taking a break in a moment, and coming up is going to be City Council member-elect Matthew Willard. Matthew Willard will be at WBOK. Looking forward to having that conversation with him. He had a convincing win in October, and so he'll be a part of dealing with some of the significant issues that the city of New Orleans has going on, and a part of plotting our future from January 12th, 2026 and beyond. So stay tuned for that. Of course, once again, WBOK 1230 AM talk line, 504-582-9422. I can't believe none of y'all feel great, or you're ecstatic, or you're disappointed with the lifting of the federal consent decree. And the mayor-elect says she didn't know anything about these border control people coming in. Whew, that is a problem. It is 8:10 a.m. We're going to break. WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
WBOK New Orleans. Home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
This is Dr. Jaquil Ross, the host for Talk That, NOLA Education, brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans. On Talk That, we'll be focusing on the amazing work of educators and students happening inside and around public schools in New Orleans. Our school communities are full of so much talent and promise, so let's talk about it. This month, we'll be joined by Jamar McNeely, Jarrell Bryant, and Dana Peterson for a discussion focused on the importance of black men in education. Also, we will hear from Kathleen Harris, Dr. Sheila Guidry, and Dr. Kelly Jordan to talk about how NSNO and NOLA Public Schools are supporting a growing English language learner population in our schools. Following that, we will have a conversation with a few representatives from NOLA Public Schools to talk about the upcoming enrollment window for school year 26-27 using the New Orleans Common Application process. So tune in to Talk That, NOLA Education, every Monday at 12:30 p.m. on 12:30 a.m. To learn more about NSNO and our programs, visit newschoolsforneworleans.org.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. Derek Groves is expected to be sentenced today. He was the last of 10 inmates caught after escaping from the Orleans Parish Jail earlier this year. Groves will be sentenced on several charges, including second-degree murder for his role in a deadly shooting in the Desire neighborhood back in 2017, and also another separate shooting. Sentencing is set for 8 a.m. And the Orleans Parish Jail employee accused of helping those inmates during the jailbreak will also be in court today. Sterling Williams is accused of cutting off water to a jail cell so the inmates could escape through a hole behind a toilet in that cell. He has pleaded not guilty to principal to simple escape and malfeasance in office. Then Archbishop Gregory Amen will take the stand as the Archdiocese bankruptcy trial continues to play out in court. We learned earlier in the week that more than 150 parishes and other entities associated with the Archdiocese will have to contribute to a $230 million settlement with abuse survivors. The Archdiocese is also selling properties, including Christopher Homes, for $150 million. This trial is expected to continue into December. And that is a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day.
New Orleans, are you ready for a voice that says what you're thinking? Who that, you might ask? Arrington Gavin. That's right, I'm your guy, host of the Arrington Gavin Show, giving you so much filled with bold opinions, real conversations, and zero sugarcoating. We're going to be diving into the issues that matter, politics, pop culture, and all the above, unfiltered and unafraid. Catch the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Fridays, right here on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK 1230 a.m. It is 8:14 a.m. If you got to be somewhere at 8:30, I hope you're on your way and that you are being safe. If you're anywhere near schools, please acknowledge, respect, and obey the school zone speed limits. We need to be careful as our babies are heading to school, and watch out for the grown folks, the guardians, the grannies, the nannies, the TDs, and the assistant principals responsible for making sure everybody gets where they need to go. Watch out for them so we can keep everyone safe. So we had such a good first half of the show with Congressman Troy Carter and Eugene Green. Looking forward to this part of the show where we will talk about some of the news that you might want to know. And we'll have Councilman-elect Matthew Willett joining us as well. But we would love to hear from you. The WBOK 1230 AM talk line is 504-582-9960. 9422. 9422. 504-582-9422. All right, so, there's some things that, I think I want you to know about so you can be aware. There was a shooting in Gretna that left a man dead on Sunday morning. It was a convicted armed robber free on parole, has been identified by the authorities as the suspect in that shooting. That suspect's name is Mark Haynes, 56, of New Orleans, and he's wanted on counts of second-degree murder and illegal possession of a firearm, according to the Gretna police. And he is accused of gunning down Michael K. Smith, who's 48. This happened at the Creekside Apartments in 1400 block of Virgil Street in Gretna, and the report of the shooting came about 6:30 a.m. So the news here is that they have identified somebody that they are looking for. Mr. Haynes apparently is on parole at the time of the shooting. And according to Gretna police, Smith and Haynes did not know each other, as best that they can tell, but something prompted an argument and this encounter. We have Mr. Haynes, who was convicted of 2 counts of armed robbery in 1997 and was sentenced to 49 and a half years in prison as a habitual offender. So I'm not sure when he was released or anything like that. I hope he was doing well up until this point, but now he is being sought in the connection with the shooting of Michael K. Smith. So if you know anything about that, anybody over at Creekside, Gretna Police would like your help with bringing him in so they can talk with him as a suspect in this situation. We also had a couple of people killed in Tulane Gravia shooting. Those people have now been identified. We shared with you the news about that shooting previously, and I'm going to do my best with the names. One is Nicholas Fayard, 42, and the other is Xavier Decuir, Decquuir, 36. And they got gunshot wounds in the 100 block of North Johnson Street on Sunday afternoon, and then they were declared dead. There were drugs on the scene. The police aren't saying there was a drug deal that gone bad, but there were drugs on the scene. And whatever went down, these 2 folks have been left dead. So they're investigating this situation. I was in the 100 block of North Johnson. If you have any information about that, police will certainly appreciate hearing from you. Meanwhile, over in Slidell, there was a guy that was killed over the weekend. And we mentioned this to you before as well. But we didn't know the identity. So the identity is Anthony Otis, Oatise, 66 years old. And his nephew, 36-year-old man, Cecil Hall of Gulfport, was arrested in the killing of his uncle. So there was a welfare check that was done. The death was ruled a homicide. A black Chevy Tahoe was missing, and this led to investigation. They got in touch with Florida law enforcement. There was a chase in Florida, and unfortunately that vehicle rammed into a Florida Highway Patrol vehicle, crashed and flipped. And so that was the beginning of bringing that part of the investigation to a conclusion. All right, so we've got a caller on the line. Good morning, Raquel.
Good morning, Will. How you doing?
Fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I see you going and strolling through the latest news.
Yeah.
So I was wanting to see if you had something up on that news report on, I believe that 12-year-old was arrested for robbing a 17-year-old, I believe, in what that was, La Class?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, that was truly unbelievable. Babies robbing babies? Oh, my God.
Yep. So, that was, this was the guy from Honduras.
Okay.
And so he was accused of, there are a couple of different 12-year-old cases. So let me make sure we're talking about the same one. So this one, this guy was charged with raping a 12-year-old in Texas. Continuously. 12-year-old girl was pretending to help the child who had been abused, and what ended up happening, the guy was not helping the child.
Right.
The guy was taking advantage of the child and taking advantage of the child over and over and over again, to the point of starving the child and forcing her to do labor and, of course, other things. So not good.
Awful.
So that's not a good thing. That was one of the cases involving a 12-year-old. The one that the one I think you're talking about, though, is the one that was in Laplace, and this was the 12-year-old boy who was charged with simple battery and simple robbery. The 12-year-old was accosting the 17-year-old and taking $10 from him.
Right.
$10. So this was reported on Saturday, and the 12-year-old was approaching a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old with ski masks, and and they got into an altercation over $10, a couple of $5 bills.
Right. And that's so unfortunate, Will. That's how I wanted to catch Miss Ann the other day. I couldn't catch it. Unfortunately, Will, I'm in the process of moving. I have to move out this unit that I'm speaking to you right now at the moment within 2 weeks.
Okay. So you're going to be
I'm
okay?
In and out. Yeah, I'm in and out, the WBOK station and, broadcast. But you know me, Will. I'm going to forever be that listener that listens all day long. I don't have to. I don't care if I have to, pause and play back. But I gotta listen all day long, Will.
All right,
along with you.
Well, I wish you well with your impending move. Thank you so much for listening every day.
Always.
And Godspeed for the transition. And I'm sure all will go well.
Right. But I'm going to try my best to catch Miss Ann, because I think I have a proposition for her that I think she might endure. So we'll check and see. I'll catch her back on it. I'm more than sure y'all have a continuous invitation for her.
Absolutely.
Well.
And if you want to get it to her sooner, just let me know, and I'll find a way to get it to her, okay?
Okay. All right. Sounds good, Will. And I also have a proposition for you, too.
All right. I'm listening.
I think you should come up with an aha moment.
An aha moment?
Yeah. I knew you was going to like that.
Okay. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Because you remember when I gave you that insight on when you had the governor in the extra hot seat. And you remember when I was, giving you an insight on, how he didn't mention nothing about, coming forward, and giving some type of accountability or explanation or something, towards the flop on the LA Gator program. So by that being said, I think I guess a little bit, discovered on a segment you could open up, with the radio station and just, create, I guess just an hour, a half an hour to the listeners, and just, tell them to chime in and let us know a subject they think that, is the aha moment,
Okay, all right.
We, wouldn't catch.
Yeah, if you might remember, years and years and years ago, Arsenio Hall, when he was hosting a night talk show, he had things that made you go,
I knew you was gonna get it.
Yeah.
I love you now.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much,
that.
Raquel.
I think that'll suit you good.
All right. Thank you so much, Raquel. Thank you
All
for
right.
calling.
Thank
you have
you,
a
Will.
blessed day.
Always. Thank you, Bill.
All right. So long. All right, folks, we're going to go to break in a bit. The WBLK 1230 AM talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. And when we come back, we'll be in conversation with City Council at Large elect Councilman Matthew Willard. Matthew Willard is in the house at WBLK, and we're going to jump into conversation with him. I know some of you all will have some questions and comments for him after his victory in October. This is his first time with the Good Morning Show since the victory and prior to officially being sworn in on January 12th. That talk line is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. This is WBLK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
We will see some chances for rain overnight on Friday. These will be hit or miss of still into the 80s, more 80s for the weekend. Then once we get to next week, from the WDSU First Warning Weather Center,
tired of the impersonal one-size feelings that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted partner for businesses and families because they know the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for you. Stop by any New Orleans area and find out more at home4bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Civil rights movement. Trail They Blaze presents stories of social and racial justice straight from the people. Listen to leaders tell their stories of resistance and persistence in their own voices, recorded by the historic New Orleans collection. Plan your visit to 520 Royal Street in the French Quarter. Reserve your free tickets at HAOC.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include imaging and on-site pharmacy, vision, medication assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
You live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish, you may be exposed to harmful chemicals. Daily, EPA regulates and everyday products that lead to serious health risks. That's why the community science program of Rise St. James reaches out to your side
is canceled, not postponed. It is just canceled, and you're out of luck. So you huffing and puffing and trying to get over there, call the people and let them know if you are running late. And keep in mind that the school zone speed limits are still in effect till 9 a.m. So we got 27 more minutes. Watch out for our babies all over the city, please. And that starts at home. Again, want to remind you that it was just a few days ago we lost one of our kids in their own driveway. Because somebody wasn't paying attention and unfortunately seemed to be under the influence first thing in the morning. So be careful with our babies. They are still growing and maturing. They may not be looking both ways. They may look both ways. They may be looking out, but situation like that, and somebody can not just be injured, but killed. So please, please, please be safe out there. I am happy to say at 8:33 a.m., sitting next to me is State Representative Matthew Willard.
How you doing, Will? Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Yep, State Representative Matthew Willard, who you won't be holding that title for long, not much longer, because January
under 2
12th,
months, less than 2 months.
January 12th, you'll have a new title.
I will.
And a new desk.
Yeah.
And a new office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't get offices and desks in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, right. Well, you have
now,
a desk on the floor.
We have a desk on the floor. I had one when I was chairperson of the House Democratic Caucus, but we're not as fancy as the senators who have a desk on the floor and a normal office space in the Capitol.
Right. You got to take care of your business in
wherever.
the hallway.
Yeah, right, wherever.
Get you out on the steps.
Exactly.
All right. So you've been in the state legislature for a few years
6
now.
years.
And what has it been like? Because, of course, you had to decide that you wanted to be a legislator, campaign to be a legislator, win election to be the legislator, win re-election to continue to be the legislator. What has that experience been like? And what do you hope you'll use from that experience, from what you thought would be happening to now 6 years of experience as you head into city council?
It's been a fulfilling and rewarding experience. When I ran and was elected, I was 31, and I thought we needed, younger people, new ideas, innovative approaches in the Capitol to put the state of Louisiana on a pathway to success. And one of the things that I really wanted to do was push economic diversification efforts. And one of the first things I did in Baton Rouge was found the STEM Innovation Caucus. And, one of the things that I learned in Baton Rouge is kind of how to navigate and come to terms on a pathway forward with people who represent districts very different from mine, with people who think fundamentally different from me, and still navigate those differences to have success for the people in the city of New Orleans. And, I vowed to provide some relief on property taxes, right? And although I didn't get to do what I wanted to do, it was a constitutional amendment to limit property assessments in New Orleans to 10% a year. We came pretty close to passing that at the ballot box. Initially, I didn't want to serve on the House Insurance Committee, Will, because it just sounded so boring. And it turned out to be a true blessing because I was able to pass a number of bills to provide consumer-friendly policies and to do what I can to create a better insurance marketplace in the state of Louisiana, namely the Fortified Roof Program and making sure that homeowners get a discount if they put a fortified roof on their property. And then leadership, from 36 to 37, certainly, matured a little bit more while I was up there and was grateful.
Just had a birthday, didn't you?
Just had a birthday.
Hey.
Yeah, just turned 37.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. But certainly learned a lot from my time leading the Democratic Caucus up there, right? I came in under John Bell Edwards as governor. And so we had a lot of help coming down from
under a Democratic governor.
Under a Democratic governor, and I was vice chair of the caucus, and we had a lot of help from his office, right, from his staffers. And then when Governor Jeff Landry came in, that help went away. And so a lot of work fell onto my shoulders, and that's when I was elected by my peers as chairperson of the caucus. So what it looked like during session was, 18-hour days reading bills, working with members, working with the speaker, working with chairpersons of committees, trying to make sure that my members' priorities were taken care of. They can bring money back home to their districts. And so I learned how to navigate a lot of relationships that normally would not exist based on what we see in the news all the time, people who just fundamentally disagree with you. And I think one thing that will position me well on the city council is that I still have really strong relationships in Baton Rouge. And if there is any time in the city's history where we could utilize strong relationships in Baton Rouge, I certainly think that this is one of those opportunities.
So I want to talk about adjacency. In the context of what you're talking about, because the Senate has offices and a desk on the floor. The House of Representatives has a desk on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're watching the news, for those who tune in, then you can get a better sense of what's happening in the State House, because you can watch the live.
And I know you watch. You text me sometimes while we're debating.
So there are those of us who are nerdy enough to watch sometimes, but a lot of people don't have that opportunity, and so they might see snippets on the screen
from the news.
From the news, here's this one talking to this one. Oftentimes they don't even identify them.
Mm-hmm.
You just see these representatives or these senators milling around or talking or coming to somebody's desk. So give us a visual of where during sessions, special or regular, where you sat, who was in front of you, who was to your left,
Okay.
who was to your right,
Okay.
and who was right behind you.
All right. So to give you a visual, so if your viewpoint is from the well, which is where we go down to present bills or to take the floor to speak on a bill, if that's your viewpoint and you're looking out toward the back of the chamber, I sat to the left toward the back left corner. So back there we have a lot of legislative Black Caucus members sit. The far back corner on the floor outside the rails is the Union corner, which was very important for me as chairperson of the House Democratic Caucus, because I would check in with them regularly because, labor, the unions represent the working people and working families in Louisiana. So we had a really strong relationship. To my immediate left, because if you go to the Capitol, our seats are grouped in two.
Yep.
And so whoever you sit next to is your seatmate.
Yep.
So I had the privilege to my immediate left, my seatmate for all 6 years was my friend, my brother, Representative, now council member elect Jason Hughes.
How about that?
And so
That's
Jason,
where I was going.
Jason and I entered the legislature together, and we approached it in a similar fashion.
Mhm.
Both of us had tremendous success up there in Baton Rouge.
Yep.
It was personality, it was intellect, it was the way you navigate the process, it was the hard work that you put in to move a bill, to kill a bill, all of those things. And so I think it's very important, bittersweet, however you want to describe it, that Jason and I went to the legislature at the exact same time,
Yep.
campaigned for state rep, and won at the exact same time. And now we get to enter City Hall and serve on the New Orleans City Council together at the exact same time. And that's very special to me.
Okay. And who sat right in front of you?
Yeah, so
Who
right
sat
in
to
front
your
of
left,
me-
And who behind?
Right in front of me, little power circle right there, right? Because Jason was vice chair of appropriations. I was
Yep.
chair of the House Democratic Caucus. Right in front of me was Representative Dustin Miller from Opelousas, who's the chairperson of Health and Welfare, very powerful committee in the legislature. To my immediate
Say Republican, Democrat.
all Democrats.
Yeah.
To my immediate right was Representative Rodney Lyons, who's vice chair of House and Governmental Affairs, the committee where everything dealing with the election code and redistricting goes to.
And where's he from?
Rodney Lyons is from Harvey, so he's on the West Bank,
Right.
Jefferson Parish.
Right.
And then immediately behind me is New Orleans Representative Sean Mena, who represents House District 23, the additional seat that New Orleans picked up during the redistricting cycle.
Which is important. That's a part, when you hear redistricting, then this is a part of how we either lose representation or gain representation.
And look, that can dovetail into a lot of areas, right? Because we actually gained that seat. So it was a net gain for the city of New Orleans. We added an additional House of Representatives seat to the New Orleans delegation when Representative Sean Mena was elected. Fast forward to 5 years from now, 2030, what does the population in the city of New Orleans look like? Well, I know we're losing population. The state's losing population. But, I mean, if we don't stop this population loss, if we don't, cut it off and regain population, we may be in the opposite position during the next redistricting cycle.
Okay, so now you'll be moving in January to City Hall.
Yep.
You'll have a space in the chambers.
Full staff too.
You'll have staff.
Yep.
You'll have an office. Do you know which office you're going to have?
Yes, I'm going to take Mayor-elect Helena Moreno's office.
Okay.
Yeah.
So describe for the people as you walk down the hall. Well, people may not have walked down the hallway.
Yeah.
Kind of as you enter on the second floor, describe kind of where the council offices are.
Yeah, so when you get off the elevator in City Hall at the second floor, there's the front desk, and if you go right, you're going to the mayor's offices, and if you go to the left, there's the council offices and the waiting room for the council, and once you go back in, Councilmember Moreno's office is, I want to say it's to the right. It's to the right, a little ways down. But everybody's, I mean, you have to get escorted back there and everything, but it's right there. I haven't figured out the layout because, of how I'll set the office up. It's probably the least of my concerns right now, but I guess we'll have to deal with that sometime next year. But I'm excited. I think we have a really good team in place to lead the city of New Orleans out of these choppy waters right now. It's going to be tough. It's going to require some very difficult decisions to be made. But I think we have a good team in place to make those decisions. And I'm really excited about my future colleagues that I'll get to serve with on the city council.
And your seatmate will be
my seatmate will be right there. He'll be right there. Yep.
All right. Do you know which office he'll take yet?
He'll take Oliver Thomas's office. Yeah.
So, okay.
All right. So you'll have three new council members coming in. Rep Hughes will take Oliver Thomas. Amy McCarron will take.
Joe
I'm
Caruso.
assuming all the Joe Giarrusso's office, and then I'll take Helena's office.
Okay. So all right. So now a part of what you want to do on January 12th is you don't want to start identifying and hiring staff on January 12th.
No.
All right. So have you made any decisions about who's going to be on your day-to-day team? Because, of course, with the campaign that you built, quite impressive.
Thank you.
Some of those people are still going to be on your team.
Yeah.
But not paid staff,
right.
Volunteers helping you implement the agendas that you talked about. But who's going to be up in the office, and what are their roles if you have decided?
So the one that I'll say right now is going to be Courtney Fleming. She's been my legislative person for the past 6 years. We've worked very closely. She's gotten into policy. She's got into management, special events, constituency services. So she's a jack of all trades, and certainly has enabled my success, not only in the Capitol, but back here at home, serving the community and the residents of District 97. So she's coming with me. She'll be my chief of staff. I'm still going through the interview process right now. I'm hoping to have all of my first round interviews with potential staffers done this week. And then I think I'll bring 2 to 3 people back for each position for a final interview before I pick. My goal was to have my team essentially identified by the end of November so that we can start working on, a 90-day plan, policy ideas, fleshing things out, making sure I get every person coming into my office the required onboarding that they'll need in order to be successful on day one. And I wanted to use the month of December to do some of that. And so, I'm excited about it. People were asking me how I felt after the election, and I was like, I don't feel any different. I'm leaving the legislature to serve the city of New Orleans directly inside of City Hall. But once I started interviewing people and looking at the possibility of bringing some amazing people into my office, I really did get excited about the potential of positivity that we can leave in the city of New Orleans.
Okay, so as we head toward December 1 and the budget must be approved.
Yes.
You don't get a vote.
I don't get a vote.
Okay, as we head toward the rest of this incumbent mayor's term and this council's term, which will end on the 11th with a few hours on the 12th, what are some of the things you're focusing on, though you're not an incumbent, but you'll be stepping into much of this? For instance, the payroll, hopefully that'll be solved before January 12th for paying people before December 31.
Yeah.
But how does that affect your thinking as you look at the budget that you're not going to play a direct role in, but you'll be stepping into on the legislative side, because once the city council approves it, then it's the mayor's budget. But that doesn't mean it's the end of city council watching how the money is spent.
Right, and you can make changes to it later on as well, which I'm assuming, is probably going to have to happen next year. Gratefully that we got the $120 million bond approval to help us meet payroll for the rest of the year and early next year. It's a sucky situation that we have to borrow money to meet payroll. The only other option was layoffs and furloughs, right? And so the council did what needed to be done in order to keep services going and to make sure that all of the city's employees continue to get paid. My focus are going to be, as it relates to the budget, the day in, day out things that affect people the most. So public safety as it relates to police, fire, EMS, but it goes beyond to DPW and street lights, right? It goes to code enforcement. It goes to sanitation, right? So those are the areas in the city's budget that I would like to see, fully funded to the greatest extent possible. And I think because any cuts there really jeopardizes the city's ability to take care of those essential services that, if we're being honest, are not optimal right now, right? They're already leaving much to be desired.
Right.
So if you cut from that, it's even worse. So that's my focus in the budget right now.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and I hope you can stay with us for a few more minutes.
Sure.
And talk some more about this. I think it's really important what happens in City Hall. It really affects all of our lives.
Yep.
Whether you vote or not, we certainly want you to be engaged civically, and voting is an important part. But whether you vote or not, Councilman-elect Matthew Willett is one of your two City Council members at large come January 12th. So we'll be in conversation with him a bit more right after the break. WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Ever notice that everyone always wants more of a good thing? More rewards, more savings, more special offers? Well, when you become a new member of the rewards program at Shell, that's exactly what you get. Join today to save 10 cents per gallon on your first fill, 20 cents on the second, and 30 cents on the third. Then enjoy everyday savings afterwards. Want more? Then head to Shell where members get more. Offer valid from 4/21/25 through 5/31/25 at participating Shell locations. Offer must be redeemed within 60 days of registration. Limit 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com/join25 for more information.
This is the Law in Your Legacy. I'm Attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm Attorney Ryan Hamilton. Losing a loved one is tough enough. Do you really want your family dealing with court battles and paperwork on top of it?
Whether you choose a will or a trust, think ahead. Take care of your present. Let them focus on healing instead of heads. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. Information, go to libertybank.net or contact us
soon-to-be city council member-elect at large, Matthew Willett. And so let's talk about this state rep role and some of the things going on with the city. When will you no longer be state rep?
January 11th.
Okay. When will you turn in your resignation, or have you done that yet?
Soon. The way that I'll do it is I'll send a letter to the speaker in the clerk's office saying that, I intend to resign with an effective date of January 11th. And the reason I'll do that is so that they can go ahead and call for a special election. And I believe Representative Hughes will probably do the same thing. The reason we're doing that is because if they can put it on the same ballot as because Senator Bowie's seat is vacant as well. If they can put it on that ballot, then we can ensure that New Orleans does not have vacancies during the upcoming legislative session, which starts next year. So if we can trigger those elections sooner, we can make sure that New Orleans is fully represented in the legislature, which is very important, and it'll certainly be very important next year for us.
All right. So when you ran 6 years ago, you were not the only person interested in the seat.
Yeah.
And
there were four of us.
Yeah, and you fended off competition with re-elections, but now you won't be the incumbent.
Yeah.
And this will be a special election.
Special election. Short turnaround.
Yeah, short turnaround for whoever. What are we expecting in terms of interest? What have you heard?
Oh, man, I'm hearing a lot of interested people. I'm hearing a lot of potential candidates from prominent New Orleans political families. I'm hearing some interest from advocates and grassroots people. So I think the people of District 97, District 100, and the Senate District are going to have some really good opportunities. And I know it'll be a short election process, but I'm hoping that there's enough time and enough forums for people to really hear from all the candidates to see, really what they want to prioritize in Baton Rouge.
So would this special election be in April or
February?
May? February. That's right. So on a different cycle.
Primary in February, and then the general would be in March, and the session next year, I believe, starts in March.
Okay, so somebody could declare any day now, but not officially qualify.
Correct. I expect people to start coming out and announcing. I actually thought I would see some this week, but certainly very soon. Qualifying, I believe, is going to run from December 17th through the 19th for my seat, Representative Hughes' seat, and Senator Bowie's seat.
So have you decided whether to have a candidate you will endorse?
Not right now.
Okay. Do you expect
I never endorse before qualifying. And if there are a lot of people that I think are capable in a race, I typically will sit out of a primary because I want to see how they can. I want somebody who's going to go out there and work hard like I did, So I want to see how they campaign. I want to see what they talk about, So it'll be interesting. And at least early on, I'll probably observe the races just like a regular citizen who's just trying to make an informed decision on who I want to be my next state representative and state senator.
Do you think it's likely that there'll be more than 3 or 4 people campaigning?
Yes.
You think there could be as many as...
I want to say I've heard for the rep seat and the Senate seat, because Senator Bowie was my senator, I want to say I've heard at least 10 different names for it. So it'll depend on how the chips fall, who decides to qualify for rep, who decides to qualify for Senate. But I've heard...
Because some people could qualify for either one.
Yeah.
But they would have to make a decision.
They'll have to decide in which race, but you also have to remember that they have to live in that district. So some people will live in the Senate district and not in the rep district.
Yep.
Some people will live in the rep district and not the Senate district.
Is it too late for them to move?
Yes. Yes.
So they can't.
But again, the residency thing, the residency qualification it's only relevant if you're challenged, right? So if nobody challenges you, you don't have an issue. But if somebody challenges you, then the courts decide. But if you don't live in the district, or if you have a homestead exemption somewhere else, you might get tossed from the race.
Okay.
Most likely.
Day one, week one. What's most important to you as you start as our city council member at large?
looking at the proposals for department heads that the mayor will select. Because the council has confirmation authority for the new department heads. And I think we have to make sure that we really deliver the right people in those jobs if we really want to turn the city of New Orleans around. So that'll be one of my first priorities, getting with those proposed department heads, meeting with them, meeting with the mayor's team to make sure that we have the right people in place and, making sure that I come up with the right questions to ask during those confirmation processes.
And of course, with the 2 at-large seats, whoever's in those seats, the city council president and the city council vice president. Yeah. And so, how soon will you be vice president, and when will you be city council president?
January 12th, and then
you will be
president.
Vice president.
Yeah, and then president in 2027.
2027.
Yep.
January.
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You looking forward to it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I love taking on new challenges, especially if I can utilize that to improve the lives of people that I care about. And so that'll be my focus. That'll be my priority. I want everybody in the city of New Orleans to hold me accountable, and I look forward to working with everybody. Look forward to coming back on WBOK to talk about some of the things that we're doing to improve the lives of people in the city of New Orleans. And Will, I'm just a call or a text away. And thank you for having me on this morning.
Absolutely. 2 things before I let you go. We got to get out of the way for the front porch.
I was trying to wrap it up for you.
How can people touch base with you in your state rep role as you wind down? And how can they touch base with you in the upcoming city council role?
Easiest way to get in touch with me right now is to send me an email. Email is Matt, M-A-T-T, at MatthewWillard.com. You can follow me on social media, Willard for NOLA, the number 4, Willard for NOLA. And then if you want to get in touch with me legislatively, you can Google my legislative page. All my contact information is on there. Just Google State Representative Matthew Willard.
All right. Well, thank you very much for spending some
time with us.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you for having me, my friend.
Thank you for making time for our WBOK family of listeners. Folks, we've had a good show today. Congressman Troy Carter, Matthew Willard. We have talked about the Border Patrol and ICE, the fiscal affairs of the city, and some crime and more things than normal. So we're going to close this one out. I see Graylin walking in the door. So the front porch is going to be coming up next. This is Will Sutton, and Lord willing, I'll be back in this seat tomorrow morning. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Have you heard the secret of what New Orleans is talking about? I promise